And I'm like, okay, what's going on with this foam that these firefighters used to use to extinguish all these industrial fires? All right, firefighters, yeah, every small city has a firefighter. Every big city has a lot of firefighters. Great commonality. Everybody knows a firefighter. Everybody does. Hey man, you have cancer because you were exposed to that foam, were you? And then you start seeing all the lineups of all the cancers that are subjected. So then I started to dig and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? I have a lot of people that I understand in Texas are sick with these cancers. They're all firefighters, they're at the station. Some of them work out with me at the gym. I know some of them. And eventually you start polling and going, only to find out that there's a great MDL in South Carolina already established, and they've only been able to get to 24% of all the firefighters that might be affected by it, and they're already talking resolution because the same components that they used to contaminate our waterways, they used partially in that foam, and they have the big state dockets where eventually these companies are going to be cleaning plastics in our waterways and rivers and all this other stuff. And then there's the component of the individual cases of cancer of all these firefighters. Well, how can I make money out of that? Because the purpose of this discussion and others is to say there are at least 10 to 15 ongoing MDLs where I'm sure there are plaintiffs in this great state. And two of the latest ones that we've gotten offered to, do you guys have cases? Eventually you start referring one case to a firm or two or three or four, and they're in leadership. When they need stuff, they start kind of getting back to you. Most cases get out of rural and big cities are from clients that trust us, trust our ability to discern them, listen to them, understand them, know them. They trust us. I know this guy. He's my friend. Oh, I met him. No, I wouldn't want to go to anybody else but him. Things like that, or her. And there's a lot of beautiful cases now. I was with Victoria in Utah with a good colleague of ours, Chris Dexter, and I saw that since Facebook and Instagram, eventually when that whistleblower came through, and she talked so bad about the product, and Mr. Zuckerberg and everybody else was subpoenaed to Capitol Hill to testify. Well, we found out that those algorithms were so manipulated, so bad to attack you, as has been in Netflix movies and others, that it resulted in teens' death, teens' anorexia, teen suicide because of all the bullying and pressures. And then I'm going, I know there are some states that are larger than others that would amass bigger plaintiffs, but the leading plaintiff in that case came out of Provo, Utah. And it was, when I first got into that litigation, I'm like, oh Jesus, we have counseling centers, grief centers. Everybody knows the social media has a danger to it. Not to us, we're adults. We can click, say yay, no, whatever we want to do, but to the kids that are more vulnerable, what's up? So at the beginning, nobody wanted to touch those cases because they said, wait a second. Serna, you're coming to tell me that you're going to find a product case in an algorithm? Well, what is Facebook? It's just a damn digital product. What is Instagram? It's the same. Who sits there wrecking with all this ball and literally coming up with all these addictive algorithms to get teens. Well, beautiful opinion given just about 3 weeks ago out of the Central District of California, where they said Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, not only am I going to allow teen anorexia cases, but I am also going to allow suicide cases. And I'm also going to allow expenses for the parents that have to truly go in and sit with their child through their agony and the grief caused to them. So just when Facebook and Instagram and all these companies thought they were going to be away from it, suddenly this federal judge in California said, no, and the grief of the parents is going to be also recognized. That happens in every corner of the United States. Not too many law firms. There were only 2 law firms involved, and we had a case, only one, and we helped a lot in the briefing as it was going to be presented. And suddenly now, this, out of that ruling in California, it was not even an MDL. The federal judge said, I'm referring this straight to the MDL because we're going to open it up for parents to be able to recover these economic damages. Suddenly I'm like, Jesus. Every small town, just like they have a firefighter, and if you know someone, you find yourself into any of the firms that are represented in that MDL and you refer your cases, then all of a sudden it's like, even in small towns, small cities, there's kids with trouble. Everybody's on social media. I can only pry and get there. Well, how do I get there? Well, I'm sure you have friends with kids. I'm sure you have friends that know of friends that kids are not doing well. It doesn't cost much to broadcast on TikTok on your own. It doesn't cost much to broadcast on Facebook either. As a matter of fact, they just cheapen the rates because I guess it's becoming a relic or something like that, but they're still a great, amazing client base. Start putting yourself out there when it comes to attracting those cases. So what I wanted to do today primarily, aside from introducing myself, is to say in every corner there are clients that can be supportive of MDLs. And I know we plaintiffs lawyers, Victoria and I have been working so hard on a Greyhound case where 7 people died, 23 people got injured. Some bus driver fell asleep over a barricade, rolled the bus 15 feet down. We kept the case in the United States. The accident happened in Mexico. Greyhound's in the US, they benefit from all this. So we've been one track case. We represent some of the plaintiffs. It's one case, one file. But when I start looking at all the rest of the MDLs that are out there, and I said, oh my God, I know a firefighter, and I can probably make some money referring that case. I know a team that has problems. As of late, I got a call last week. Hey, do you have any sexual assault cases in an Uber? I'm like, oops, I have 4 daughters, thank God. No, not me. What? Oh, what do you mean? Is it becoming of issue? It's becoming of issue. If you were a woman or a man and you were sexually assaulted in an Uber, Uber apparently did nothing and the driver is still driving. Shy of you killing someone like that case in Wisconsin, Uber will allow for you to continue to drive despite a police report with adversities. There's Uber here. There's Uber everywhere. Now they're looking for those type of cases. And so I have a series of individual cases I would like to present primarily to stimulate, to say, don't overlook mass tort cases as something unattainable. Quite the opposite. Even if you were to ask Google the top 10 mass tort cases in the US ongoing, it'll point you to 10 MDLs that are there. You go to